I was approved for $500,000 in business credit in the first 14 months using a residential address. Not a registered agent address, not a virtual mailbox, the same address I slept at. And it didn't slow me down whatsoever. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of building a business credit profile. People think they need a fancy commercial office or some prestigious virtual address to get approved. They don't. In fact, the address most entrepreneurs are told to use is the exact thing that's getting them denied. I'm going to show you which addresses banks actually approve, the one address you should never use, and then I'm going to walk you through the full phase-by-phase funding sequence so you know exactly where address setup fits into the bigger picture. Here's the trap. When you file an LLC with one of the big formation services like Northwest Registered Agents, InkFile or Busy, Zen Business, all the popular ones, they often offer you to let you use their registered agent address. Or you sign up for a virtual mailbox with one of the bigger providers. Sounds professional, right? A lot of times doing that is going to just set yourself up for denials. The reason is something called a CMRA, Commercial Mail Receiving Agency. The United States Postal Service flags any address that is a shared commercial mail receiving setup. The banks pull the address through the same database. If yours comes back as a CMRA, your application is essentially flagged before a human even looks at it. Some banks will straight up auto deny you. Others mark the file and pass it down the priority stack. Either way, you lose and you most likely get denied. So what works? 3 things specifically. A real home address works. I'm living proof. $500,000 approved in the first 14 months on my residential address. Banks don't care if it's a house. They care if it's not a shared receiving station, okay? It cannot be a CMRA. You do not want that. A real commercial address works if you have the actual lease on an actual office or a storefront. In that scenario, you're definitely set. A virtual office with a unique suite number also can work if it's the right kind. Companies like Regus or Opus give you a real office with a unique suite number tied to only you, and that's not a CMRA. That's just a small office that happened to share a building with. The suite number is what makes you pass. Run the test. Take whatever address you're using or thinking about using and run it through the USPS address verification tool. It will tell you if it's flagged as a CMRA. If it comes back clean, which means no, it's not a CMRA, then you're good. If it flags yes, you need to change your business address everywhere before you apply. And that's the next piece, consistency. The address has to match perfectly and exactly across the 4 different places, which is the Secretary of State, your IRS EIN letter, your business bank account, and your business credit profiles, specifically on Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Small Business. If the Secretary of State has one address, and your bank has a different address and it's not matching with your Dun & Bradstreet profile, even if it's just the suite number being different, if the addresses don't match, it doesn't look legit and they're going to flag it and not approve you. It needs to be consistent. So fix this before you even submit an application. Pull each of these 4 records, cross-check them. If something is off, you need to update it. Some of them, like on the IRS, takes a couple weeks to update, so you wanna build that into your timeline. Okay, so where does address setup fit into the bigger picture? Let me walk you through a full phase-by-phase sequence that I run for every client. Phase number 1, build your personal credit. The bar is 720 plus for the score. So hard inquiries, you want them to be under 2 in the last 6 months. You wanna hit at least $15,000 of collective personal credit limits before business funding. You wanna have 5 cards across the right banks, several of them at tier 1 banks like Chase, Bank of America, Citi, and Wells Fargo. For utilization, you want this to be under 10% on each personal credit card account before the statement closes, and you wanna kinda keep it there. You can max the cards out, but pay off the balance before the statement closing date. Phase number 2 is setting up the business correctly. File the LLC, use a real address that passes the CMRA test, get your EIN letter from the IRS, and make sure everything matches. And while you're at it, if you don't already have a second LLC, you want to have 2 LLCs because the chance of you getting more funding approved with 2 LLCs versus just 1 is significantly higher. And the more age on these LLCs, the better. From there, you want to register these LLCs with Dun & Bradstreet so you can start building your business credit bureau scores on D&B and Experian Small Business. Phase number 3 is opening business checking accounts at most of the target banks. Banks like Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo specifically. You want to season them for at least 30 to 60 days, ideally with real revenue. The bank that cares about the revenue the most is Bank of America. Chase and Wells Fargo, a little bit less about the revenue, more about the liquidity and building a relationship without the revenue. Although, of course, it helps. So based on that, show Bank of America that revenue. Show them the deposits. If you have a credit card merchant processor, move your deposits into Bank of America instead of any other bank. They care about it the most, so you want to show them before you apply for the business credit cards. Phase 4 is applying at the soft pull banks first. American Express if you already have a personal Amex card. And Citizens Bank if you're in one of their states, one of the 19 states. These do not trigger hard inquiry, so they don't burn your file. They're soft pulls, not hard inquiries. So you do them first. Phase number 5, apply at the inquiry sensitive banks. For Chase, it's going to be the Business Inc. Cash and the Business Inc. Unlimited, the Wells Fargo, Signify Business Cash Card, all 5 cards at Bank of America. Technically, only 4 of them are 0%, but you can even get the 5th and actually combine the limits to 1 card. That right there is the big approval wave. Phase number 6, the multiplier banks, I call them. Truist and Citizens. For additional 0% interest products, US Bank and Elon Financial, those will give you the 0% for 18 months, not just 7, not just 9 or 12, but actually 18 months. The next, Key Bank, if you are in one of the states that Key Bank is in, I believe it's about 15 states, great bank to apply for if you have Key Bank access. That's the entire game, 6 phases, each one builds on the last. Skip a phase and the next one collapses. The address setup is part of phase 2, but if you get it wrong, every phase after that fails. One more thing about address consistency that nobody talks about. When you file a second LLC, you can give it a different address if it makes sense. A different state, a different suite, a different building. That's actually a strength, not a weakness. 2 LLCs at one address is fine. 2 LLCs at different addresses is even better because it makes them look more like 2 genuinely separate operations. One last thing worth pulling out of this, your business credit bureau profile. The address is critical, as we've talked about, but it's not the only part of the picture. You also need to actively build your Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Small Business profiles, because those are what banks look at on the business side. The first step is getting your DUNS number. That's a unique 9-digit identifier at Dun & Bradstreet. They assign it to you, and it's your business credit number. You can request one for free on the Dun & Bradstreet website. Sometimes it takes up to 30 days, so it's best to request this as soon as possible when you get the LLC. It's possible to pay for an expedited DUNS number over just 5 days. I don't really recommend it. Dun & Bradstreet will always call you and try to upsell you to other services. You really don't need to do any of those upsells. Just get the DUNS number. You don't need to pay for any of their services. Then you want to start building your Paydex score. Paydex is Dun & Bradstreet's main business credit score. It runs from 0 to 100. The goal is to get to 80 or higher, and the Paydex measures how quickly you pay your business vendors. So to build it, you need vendors reporting to Dun & Bradstreet that you pay on time or early. This is where the vendor Tradelines strategy comes in. 3 subscriptions, 1 month each. Nav Prime at $50 a month reports to Dun & Bradstreet plus Experian Small Business. FairFigure at $24 a month also reports, and eCredible, another subscription for only $20 a month. Total about $100 for 1 month, possibly 2 if they don't report the first month. All you need to do is sign up, let one of the statements run. Sometimes it takes 2, but generally just 1. And once you see those Tradelines reporting to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Small Business, then you can cancel the subscriptions and those vendor Tradelines will report on your business credit profile for the next 2 years. Then in 2 years, when maybe they fall off, you can sign up again, they report, and then you cancel again. Super easy. Most business credit cards do not report to the business credit bureaus, which is why most people building credit on the business side make 0 progress with their Dun & Bradstreet scores even after stacking. The exceptions, the Chase Business Inc. cards, Citi, FNBO, and PNC. Those 4 do report to the business credit bureaus, specifically Experian Small Business, which means using them responsibly is doing a double duty. They're reporting. It's both 0% interest and it's building your business credit because they report to the profiles. For the vendor trade lines, this is the move most people skip because they don't know it exists. Spend $100 for 1 month to get those vendor trade lines to report. Beforehand, get the DNB registered and the Experian Small Business and start building these business credit scores. It's gonna make it easier to get approved for these business credit cards with specifically higher limits. It's really that simple. If you wanna watch my hour-long masterclass on business funding, then click this video right here. It covers everything from A to Z on how to optimize your personal credit profile before applying for business credit accounts, how to build the best bank relationships with the right banks, and I even walk through 3 detailed case studies showing you different clients' profiles, exact recommendations I made to them, and exactly what their results were in terms of getting approved for 0% interest business credit cards. Click this video right here, and I'll see you there.